Hey, welcome to episode 80 of Raw and Score Trivia, the trivia podcast with huge prize giveaways in an alternate universe. I am the Quizzard, and I am so ready to quit my job and do this instead now. It's not that I don't like my job, I actually really like my job, but no job would be so much better. You can help me achieve this goal. Tell your friends about this podcast, or chuck it up on your next group road trip and play with some friends. Are you at a wild party but have no trivia to play? Cue up this podcast on the speaker. Those people will keep dancing. Seriously, if you do like the pod though, I'd really appreciate you telling one or two people about it. If you have no friends, you can always help me out by giving me some good reviews on Spotify or Apple. It tricks the algorithm into recommending it to more people apparently. Or give me a sub on YouTube. Even pressing the thumbs up button does something, I think. Alright, I feel dirty after all that grovelling. I'm gonna go take a quick shower and then we can begin. We are scoring out of a total of 35 points with 20 questions worth a point each in the question round, a stupidly hard question worth 5 points, a bonus round worth 5 points, and a game that we play throughout the question round which is worth 5 points as well. This week, the game is alliterated answers. This game's easy, you just have to count how many answers start with a particular letter. The words a, an, or the do not count in this game, so if the answer was a bus, the letter would be B, not A. The letter you are counting today is the letter A. So don't forget to count how many answers start with the letter A in the question round, which is starting now. Question 1. Which superhero has the sidekick Robin? Batman. Question 2. What is the only mammal with a shell? The armadillo. Question 3. Which element has the atomic number 3? Lithium. I don't know why it seems weird that lithium is the third one, but it does. Like it goes hydrogen, helium, then lithium? Oxygen isn't till like 8. I can't explain why it seems weird, but it is, right? Question 4. What is the national animal of Indonesia? It would have to be the Komodo dragon. Question 5. In music, what note would be a semitone above C? C sharp or D flat. Question 6. Baku is the capital city of which country? Azerbaijan. Question 7. Who voiced the genie in the original Aladdin animated movie? Robin Williams. Question 8. What is the chemical compound for water? H2O. Whenever I think the words H2O, I hear them in Waterboy's voice. Question 9. What does the word dichotomy mean? Dichotomy. It means a difference between two completely different or opposite things. As always, close enough is good enough with definitions. You don't need it word for word. Question 10. What is the best-selling beer in Australia as of July 2025? Great Northern. This is a big shock to me. I thought Carlton or VB or maybe 4X. I did not think Great Northern would be anywhere near the top. Question 11. What musical instrument does Lizzo often play? She plays the flute. Question 12. What is the website DuckDuckGo most commonly used for? DuckDuckGo is a search engine. Question 13. Who sung the 1956 song Hound Dog? That was the king himself, Elvis. Question 14. Which sport has positions called goal attack and wing defence? Netball, the most annoying sport to play. They always blow the whistle at me when I'm not doing anything wrong, I swear. Question 15. The computer software Ableton would usually be used to do what? Ableton. It would be used to produce music. I've always wanted Ableton, but it costs so much money and I have no idea how to torrent it. Question 16. The Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 were in part sparked by the death of who? George Floyd. Question 17. Raiders of the Lost Ark was the first movie in which popular series? Indiana Jones. Question 18. The word queuing contains how many vowels in a row? Queuing, as in I'm queuing up for a drink. How many vowels in a row? You spell queuing Q-U-E-U-E-I-N-G. U-E-U-E-I in the middle is 5 vowels in a row. Seems like a waste when it could have just been the letter Q then an ing. Question 19. If it's Monday on the 1st of February, what day will it be on the 15th of February? That's 2 weeks later, so it will be another Monday. Finally, question 20. Which year did World War II end? World War II ended in 1945. All right, that's it for the questions. But did you remember we're playing alliterated answers? I asked you to count how many answers started with the letter A. Lock in your answer now. There were 2. The answers were armadillo and Azerbaijan. Give yourself 5 points if you got that right. Coming up soon, we have the really unbelievably stupidly hard trivia question and the bonus round of the episode. This week, the bonus round's going to be Guesstimator, the one where you just have to have your best guess. Stay tuned for that. We're back and it's time for the question that says it's going to kill my whole family if I don't read it right now. The really hard trivia question. All right, I've got a really hard question for you. You get 5 points if you get this right. Here it is. The scientific name for a human is Homo sapien. What animal goes by the scientific name Aeluropoda melanoluca? I'll try and say it again. Aeluropoda melanoluca. Spelt A-I-L-U-R-O-P-O-D-A. M-E-L-A-N-O-L-E-U-C-A. Aeluropoda melanoluca. It's obvious, isn't it, guys? I've got a pet Aeluropoda melanoluca at home. What's your favourite animal at the zoo? Mine's the Aeluropoda melanoluca. 5 more seconds. Aeluropoda melanoluca is the scientific name for a giant panda. 5 points to you if you got that right. If you just said the word panda, you're going to hate me and you're probably never going to listen again, but it's got to be giant panda for the hard question. And with the hard question done, that brings us to the bonus round of the episode. This week, the bonus round is Guesstimator. In this game, I'm going to give you 5 questions that have a numerical answer, and your job is just to have your best guess at the answer. If you're within 20% either side of the answer, you get a point. If you're outside of that, you don't get the point. This one has historically been really hard, even though it sounds easy. 20%'s such a big margin, but somehow it's always hard. Anyway, have your best guess at the answers. Guesstimator, starting now. Question 1. How long is the standard shoelace for a high-top Converse shoe in inches or centimetres? Alright, this one's so crazy that I just had to press pause and fact check myself because I didn't believe it, but the answer is 62 inches or 157 centimetres. That's so long. If you guessed between 49 and 75 inches or 125 and 188 centimetres, you get the point. How long are shoelaces? Who knew? Question 2. How much does the average silverback gorilla weigh in pounds or kilograms? They weigh 392 pounds or 177 kilograms. Between 313 and 470 pounds gets you the point, or between 141 and 212 kilograms. Honestly, I thought heavier. Question 3. How many meatballs go in a Subway footlong sub? Eight meatballs go in a footlong sub. I'm being generous with some decimal points here. Between 6 and 10 gets you a point, and if you guessed 6 or 10, you need to thank me, because if we're going by the letter of the law, they probably shouldn't count. Feel free to dock yourself the point if you want to be by the book. Question 4. According to a 2024 study, how many giraffes are there in the wild? There are 157,000. Between 125,600 and 188,400 gets you the points. More than I thought. I'm pleasantly surprised with this one. Finally, question 5. Based on weight alone and also based on the average size of each, how many McNuggets make up a whole chicken? So how many of the average McNugget would weigh the same as the average chicken? Probably one of my favourite questions ever. The answer is 169, so between 135 and 203 gets you the point. That's it though, the peak of the show was that question there, it's not getting any better than that. That is it for the questions this round. Tally up your score, and that is what you got for this week. Are you getting the feeling that I'm talking to you from the past? Is my regular topical on-point banter not part of this show? Well, that's because I recorded this one about a week ago, because I'm actually getting married this weekend. I don't have time to put everyone's name in the end, unfortunately. So if you've sent me your score, you might have to wait until next week. I did ask my fiancée, or I guess now that you're listening, my wife, if I could pause the wedding to go and add your names to the podcast, but it was a very hard no. If you've listened to any of my special episodes, I don't say the score either, and traditionally what you get instead is an impersonation by me, usually a very poor impersonation by me. So that's what you're going to get this week. Instead of me reading your scores, I'm going to give you my Rick Sanchez. I don't think I'm bad at Rick Sanchez. Here it is.
Morty, what are you doing, Morty? Stop that, Morty. You gotta go on Spotify and Apple and rate the Roar and Score Trivia Podcast 5 stars, Morty. Go, Morty, do it.
Not great, if I'm honest. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week with another episode of Roar and Score. Bye-bye.
Oh, geez, Rick. I tried to rate it 5 stars, but I couldn't do it.